What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Below Average Brothers podcast. It is the crew, Bry, Jax, Ross, coming at you on a Tuesday night just after the college football playoff rankings were released. Have plenty to say about that. But first, we're going to go ahead and, do our normal promos of all of our other socials, Twitter, Below Av Brothers. I'm not going to spell it anymore. Most people have already been here for a while. _ Below Average Brothers on Instagram, Below Average Brothers on Facebook and YouTube. We put up every single podcast we have on YouTube too, so you guys can see our facial reactions and all of that. But first, we're gonna go ahead and get right into these rankings. I thought it was disrespectful, so I'll go ahead and give it to you guys from 10 to 1. At 10, they had Notre Dame, Wake Forest, Oklahoma at 8, Michigan at 7, Cincinnati at 6, Ohio State at 5, and in the 4 and in the playoff, if it were to start today, at number 4, the Oregon Ducks, number 3, Michigan State, number 2, Alabama, and number 1, Georgia. Obviously, number 1, not a surprise. But in my opinion, from there all the way down, shocked me. What did y'all think?
Definitely shocking. Disrespectful, in my personal opinion. Don't really understand.
Who's disrespected here?
I'd say for sure Cincy.
Definitely.
I mean, they have a top
6?
10 win. I mean, they put Notre Dame at 10, and then you have Cincy at 6. I just don't understand it. That's a top 10 win when Bama doesn't have a top 10 win, and they're a 1 loss, and Cincy's undefeated. I don't understand where the committee's thoughts are with a lot of these things. So I think that's the number 1 disrespect, and then the Big 12 disrespect with OU at 8. Definitely hate OU Sooners. Hate them with a passion. Shouldn't be at 8, though. Definitely should not be at 8.
Would you have them in the top 4?
110%. I mean, I've had them in the top 4 in the last, 3 weeks? I mean,
So,
Caleb Williams, they're a different team.
So we're not doing rankings today, but we'll just a quick top 4. Who would you have? You'd have Georgia, and who would be your next 3? Just quick.
So I would have Georgia 1, OU 2, Michigan State 3, Ohio State. My bad. I forgot Cincy. Okay. So Georgia, Cincy, OU, and then Michigan State.
Okay.
That would be
that would be my 4. Obviously, competing or staying with what I've been doing. I'd have OU at 1, Georgia at 2, Cincy at 3, Michigan State at 4. I do think Michigan State is about the only other one they got right. They definitely deserve to be in the top 4 after that win at Michigan, or against Michigan. It was at Michigan State, but, beating Michigan, that's huge. But it's also, I think, disrespectful that coming off of a loss, they put Michigan above OU.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's stupid. I don't get the reasoning in a lot of these things. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to
Isn't
me.
OU 9-0, the only 9-0 team in the country?
I believe so.
One of I'm not sure if they're the only
maybe UTSA, which is also left off this list, which is disrespectful.
Yeah, they're not at 2, sadly.
Yeah. I'd have to agree on y'all's 4, maybe in a little bit different order. I think I'd have Cincy at 2. I don't know if y'all did, and then Michigan State at 3, and then at 4. But like I was saying, I think Cincinnati's just straight disrespectful. I mean, I think at this point, if they're at 6, there's just no way they get in. I think that's what the biggest thing was for me. Having them at 6, that means just they're not getting in. I don't think there's any way they can.
Yeah, real quick, before you say something, Jax, they just came out with 11 through 15. I've got the TV on behind me. Y'all are going to be watching on YouTube. Can see that. At 11, they had 11 and 12 was the Big 12. They had Oklahoma State, Baylor.
I did see that.
Followed by Auburn, A&M, and BYU. So, I mean, OU obviously has a chance to move up from 8 if those 2 teams at 11 and 12 can stay there. But I still think it's disrespectful. When I seen them show up at 8 on the TV, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The disrespect.
Stupid. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know what the committee's going off of. I think they contradict themselves a couple times.
For sure.
I just don't understand their reasoning, I guess.
It really just shows you how meaningless the AP poll is.
Yeah,
completely the first 8 weeks of the year, they've had this poll, and it's, to me, honestly, the AP poll has felt fairly reasonable. Like, it felt better than tonight when they came out with these. I mean, you're looking at in the top 5, you've got Bama with the loss, Oregon with the loss, and Ohio State with the loss, ahead of Cincinnati and Oklahoma that are undefeated. I mean, Wake Forest is also undefeated, but I mean, it's Wake Forest, So But I mean, ahead of Cincy and OU, that's just dirty in my opinion. I don't understand it. But I mean, and I heard Kirk Herbstreit say today that there's no chance they put in a 2-loss Alabama if they lose to Georgia. And I don't agree with that. I could see a 2-loss Alabama getting in very, very easily.
I mean, they're at 2 right now with the bad loss to A&M. That's not a good loss, although A&M's at 14. They're a 2-loss, and they didn't look good in that game. At the end of the day, they did not look very good in that game.
I agree.
Very beatable.
And I believe the reason that Alabama is at 2 is because if they were at 4 with that loss to Georgia, it would put them out. But at 2, they've got some wiggle room. They can lose to a close one to Georgia and just fall down to 4. But I think if they'd have put them at 4, they would have not had any of that wiggle room come the SEC championship.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I do like Wake Forest at 9, though. I like that. Inside the top 10, getting a little bit of respect.
And they deserve it.
Yeah, rightfully so.
So does UTSA. But
I'm looking here. So. UTSA isn't even ranked top 25, if I'm correct. If I'm looking at the right list, I don't
disrespect.
No, they are not top 25.
Yeah, I'm looking
UTSA is left out, sadly.
That's disrespectful.
Another disrespectful.
Same.
Who rounds out the top 25 from 16 down? If you don't mind, I don't have it on the TV behind me.
I got it, Jax. Unless you wanna.
You go ahead.
Yeah, so 16's Missouri Tigers, 17's Mississippi State, 18 Kentucky, 19. I can't see that logo, Jax. If you have it pulled up.
So 19 is NC State, 20 is Minnesota, 21's Wisconsin, 22's Iowa, 23 Fresno State, 24 San Diego State, 25 Pitt.
Yep.
Did I hear Missouri? Did I
hear that wasn't Missouri. I don't know who he said, but so 16's Ole Miss, and then 17 is Mississippi State. And then 18's Kentucky, 19.
Oh, this graphic must be wrong because Elite College Football's got Missouri at 16. I don't know if that.
It's Ole Miss at 16. They messed it up.
Messed it up.
Yeah, I heard Missouri. I was like,
Missouri hasn't won a game in the SEC. I don't think yet. Like a boss.
But going off of that, we didn't really have that planned. I forgot the playoff ranking was tonight. We're going to go into what we initially had planned, and that was 2 massive Heisman performances from Heisman candidates over the weekend. First, we had in a game 2 teams we talked about just a second ago was Michigan State with Kenneth Walker Jr. going off 23 attempts, 197 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I mean, that's insane in a huge game, against your arch rival Michigan. But the other one we had was my guy, Caleb Williams, 23 of 30, 402 yards, 6 touchdowns, broke the Oklahoma freshman record, tied the record with Kyler and Baker for 6 touchdowns in a game. Who do y'all think had the bigger performance this weekend?
I'm going to go Kenneth Walker, solely off of, level of competition. I think the Michigan, I mean, like you saw, they were getting a lot of respect. They're ranked over OU. Yeah. So definitely Michigan State. I mean, Kenneth Walker for Michigan State, because too, I mean, if he doesn't play that game, they don't win regardless. So, I mean, it's a big day for Caleb Williams, but I expected it. I completely expected it against a Texas Tech team. So I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I totally agree. He hit on all the points I was going to say. Strength of opponent, and it was Texas Tech. I mean, I think you should expect that now. I mean, I think everyone is. If he's a Heisman candidate quarterback, he's going to produce those numbers. But I mean, 5 TDs for a running back against that Michigan D is pretty impressive. But I definitely say Walker.
Yeah, I disagree. I think everybody in the audience would know that I'm probably going to disagree. I mean, I agree that Kenneth Walker had a huge day, and they don't win without him, like Jack said. But I think Caleb Williams just solely, the efficiency, 400 yards, 6 touchdowns, and finally it feels like Oklahoma finally played a complete game for the first time all year. It looked like they finally put it all together. Yeah. When Caleb Williams went out, it was 42-14 or 45-14, I believe. They scored a touchdown late with the second team in. Spencer Rattler comes in and throws a touchdown. Yeah.
Boss.
So I think Williams had a big day, and we'll see, in the coming weeks, with OU playing Baylor, Oklahoma State, and Iowa State to finish off the year. 3 ranked teams. No, Iowa State wasn't ranked after the loss this weekend, were they?
Yeah. Bad loss.
Two out of 3 teams, left on their schedule being ranked. So we'll see how Caleb Williams does. But that's all we have for college. We're going to talk about the NFL, and we really don't have a lot with the NFL this week. It was kind of a lackluster weekend, a lot of big teams losing, but we will do our power rankings. But first off, we're going to get off we'll start going back to last Thursday night with the Cardinals getting beat by the Packers without their top 3 receivers. And really, they should have won that game if AJ Green doesn't go brain dead on the final play of the game.
He thought they called inside zone, basically. It was a back shoulder fade, and he was playing like inside zone, blocking. I mean, I don't know what he was doing right there. It was a perfect pass.
Yeah.
Tyler didn't play great, obviously. But, I mean, Green Bay with like you said, top 3 receivers out. That's a big win. It's a very big win.
And it didn't help Kyler that D-Hop went out on the first possession or second possession of the game. He made that long, could have been touchdown pass, but he got called for face mask. But he went out after that play and didn't come back until late in the 4th, and he just wasn't – you could tell he wasn't completely healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
Ross, what do you think?
Yeah, Arizona had the chance to win it at the end, like y'all said, just miscommunication, maybe just, young quarterback and, new system for AJ Green, I know, but I mean, it was a perfect ball. If he even
looks at it, he didn't even look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's right where it needs to be. The DBs doesn't have a chance to catch it, and that's perfect ball placement. But I think it confirms that the Packers are legit, but I still think Arizona is a really good team. But yeah, I mean, they still had the chance to win. So
yeah, they should have won it at the end of the day. If the communication's there, I think AJ Green catches that ball, and there's just not enough time left for Green Bay to.
I think I seen a stat that Aaron Rodgers has won 7 straight without Devontae Adams. Like he does, not that he's better without Devontae Adams, but he gets the job done. And that's why he's a great
impressive.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that Randall Cobb's only been good in Green Bay.
Yeah. For
there's
sure.
There's a reason for that.
I mean, look at all those guys. Jordy Nelson, same story. Great in Green Bay, leaves, goes to the Raiders. Terrible. But the biggest story of the day, in my opinion, of the NFL was that 3 backup quarterbacks got a win. And not against fluffs either. Trevor Siemian comes in when Jameis Winston goes out with the torn ACL, sadly. Jameis is out. Jabowins is out. But Siemian comes in, beats the Bucks. Like, are you kidding me? Mike White, never heard of him. Had not heard of him until Sunday afternoon. Beats the Bengals, who were sitting atop the AFC. And Cooper Rush for the Cowboys won on Sunday night. I mean, all 3 of those guys will never be a starter in the NFL. Like, it's not like these guys are good.
Me and Ross know all about Cooper Rush, don't we? Go back to the Central Michigan, the Hail Mary to beat Oklahoma State back in the day. But yeah, I mean, kudos they stepped up to the plate and delivered. Respect. I mean, Mike White, a big day. I think that's actually one of the best first start performances ever, if not the best. I think he threw for over 400.
He's the second to throw for over 400 since Cam Newton.
Yeah, as a rookie. And that's Cam Newton's debut. I mean, he was the number 1 pick. I mean, that's somewhat expected to an extent. But Mike White, I mean.
He was the first Jets quarterback to throw for 400 since 2000. Since Vinny Testaverde did it.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Look out, man. Your job may be taken. I mean, that's a good win. Coming into this week, I think
the Jets,
a lot of people had Cincy in top 5.
The Jets may have the best pair of wins on the year. They've beaten the Titans and the Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not for sure. What is Zach Wilson out with? How long is he out? Do y'all know? Like what?
No clue, what's his really?
I thought he was in concussion protocol.
I don't think it's
but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. I mean, that job ain't on lock no more. I mean, that's definitely.
We'll see this week, Thursday Night Football. Them and the Colts be a big one.
For sure. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought last night that Cooper Rush was doing everything he could to throw that football game away, and Minnesota just wouldn't take it. From what I watched, I mean, I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but I thought the biggest one of the day was Trevor Siemian. I mean, last time we seen that dude playing for Denver, he was awful, and he outdueled Brady You know,
He beat the GOAT. I mean, at the end of the day, the GOAT beat himself the late pick 6, but still,
Yeah.
I mean, to even have yourself in that situation, respect, kudos.
Yeah, I agree.
I seen a meme today about Cooper Rush. It said Cooper Rush looks like an actor to play Andy Dalton in a movie about Dak Prescott. The dude just looks like a knockoff Andy Dalton.
I was sitting at my wife's parents, and my father-in-law, he said, "Is that dude dressed up as Andy Dalton for Halloween?" Like legit, he said, "Is that dude dressed up as Andy Dalton for Halloween?" And I was like, I never looked at him that way, but he kind of does look like Andy Dalton. Plays like him too. Garbage.
Yeah, he's a Dollar General version of Andy Dalton, and that's someone you don't want to be the Dollar General version of, if you know what I mean.
I agree. I agree completely. But next up, we're going to have the NFL Power Rankings, followed by a little game with the NBA. Like I said in the last segment, we're going to go back to the NFL and just do the power rankings here. We're just going to kind of go quick because we got a game in the NBA that we want to get to. But Ross, I'll let you start from 5 to 1 in the NFL. You got them?
Yep, I got them right here. So coming in at 5, I have the Buffalo Bills. I got the Bills, Josh Allen, 6-2. I believe in Josh Allen. I think he's top 5 quarterback in the league. He's got weapons, around him, and he's got a great defense behind him. So I got the Bills at 5.
4.
4, I sadly got the Dallas Cowboys. Even with the Dollar General version of Andy Dalton playing for the next couple weeks, I know they got a great defense with Diggs Island, and I think CD will still be able to get open and have a lot of receptions, and Zeke running the ball. I think they'll still have success, but I got the boys at 4.
Number 3.
At 3, I got the Los Angeles Rams. We've said it all, seems like on every podcast, that connection between Stafford and Cooper Kupp, it's legit, one of the best in the league, and they just
He's on
added,
pace to like break receiving records.
Yeah, break. Yeah. I don't know who it was. It might have been.
He's got 10 touchdowns so far.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane, and they just got Von Miller, which was crazy in that trade, but that defense is already legit. But I got the Rams at 3.
Number 2.
At 2, I got a team that just got beat this week, but I still think they're a top 2 team, and I got the Arizona Cardinals. We've been high on them all year. I think they should have won this game, like I was saying earlier, but they didn't. And my number 1 team is the team that beat them. I got the Green Bay Packers at 1.
Finally showing some love. Showing some love.
Like we were saying, Aaron Rodgers, doesn't really matter who's got around him. He's a great quarterback, gonna get his TDs no matter who he's throwing to. And that defense is legit. And Aaron Rodgers is still probably top 3 quarterback in the league, no matter how old he is, dressing up as Keanu Reeves this weekend.
I think it was John Wick. Was that?
Yeah, John
Wick.
Yep. Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
I'll go next, Jax. At 5, I've sadly got the Dallas Cowboys. A lot like what Ross said, just if they can continue to win with Cooper Rush, which I think Dak's probably going to play this week. I think they were just kind of keeping him out to keep him healthy. I think he could have played this week, but I got the boys at 5. At number 4, I've got TB12 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I like it.
Yeah, even after the loss, I'm not going to bet against them ever.
You can't bet against the GOAT.
I'm just not going to bet against them. So I'm going to keep them at 4, keep them in the top 5. Thing about my list is I don't have a single AFC team on my list. Top 5 teams in the NFL, according to me, are all in the NFC. At number 3, I've got the Los Angeles Rams. Just like Ross said, adding Von Miller, Matthew Stafford, and Cooper Kupp, it's like he's unguardable. I don't know what it is, but they also released Deshaun Jackson today. I don't know if you guys seen that. They cut him.
That's sad.
So
very sad.
Maybe
sad day.
I'm guessing he wasn't playing very well. That's why he obviously got cut. But maybe somebody will finally figure out how to guard Cooper Kupp. But at number 2, my 1 and 2 is the same as Ross's. At number 2, I've got the Arizona Cardinals. Even after the loss, I thought, like we said, they were one head turn of AJ Green away from winning that football game. I mean, he turns his head, he catches that, and it's probably over. Cardinals win. But at number 1, I've got the Green Bay Packers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's just a bad man. Dude's just getting it done. Ever since week 1, they've won 7 in a row, and they really haven't even played a close game until the other night. I mean, they're thumping people.
Fair enough.
Jax?
Coming in at 5, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like you said, coming off the loss, but it's the GOAT. You can't bet against them. Defense is very good. He's going to bounce back. They're going to be a good team. Coming in at 4, a little different from y'all, I got the Green Bay Packers at 4.
Wow.
They shouldn't have won this week. At the end of the day, they shouldn't have won this week. It should be a 2-loss. And, I mean, they're good. Aaron Rodgers is good. But, I mean, to me, the question mark's the defense for sure. And then coming at 3, I have the LA Rams. Like Ross was saying, I mean, I've said it all year. I think they have the 2 best defenders in the league, and they may have just had the 3rd best defender in the league. And Von Miller's a dog. They're going to be good. I mean, that defense is very, very scary now for sure. Coming in at 2, the Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush, Andy Dalton, bring Jason Garrett out of retirement. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. It don't matter. I mean, with the weapons on that offense, it don't matter. I could be behind center. I could be taking a snap, and the boys would still be rolling. It don't matter. And then coming in at 1, I have Arizona Cardinals.
Wow, sticking with them. I like it.
Yeah, I'm sticking with them. I think they're head and shoulders the best team in the league. Kyler didn't play good. He did not play good at all, and still drove his team 99 yards. A little 2-minute drill, 99 yards, and threw a perfect pass by AJ Green. He hurt inside zone. So he was blocking. But if he would have just turned his head like y'all said, it'd have been a turch. About 13 seconds left. I don't think A-Rod's that bad of a man to score in 13 seconds, but I wouldn't put it past him. But they should have won the game at the end of the day. They should still be undefeated, and they're my number 1 team.
I agree. I like that. I just put the Packers there because they did win, but I think the Cardinals are still probably right there. All right. We've been excited for this one. We're going to play a little game called Who You Gots with the NBA. And a few guys that are a little controversial in this league, maybe not controversial, but lined up directly with somebody. And our first one is a perfect example of this, probably the greatest draft day trade in the history of the league. Luka Doncic and Trae Young. Jax, who you got?
Yeah, and this game is basically, picking your franchise player. So
building your franchise cornerstone.
Yeah. So in my opinion, my MVP pick, Luka Doncic. Luka's just he's that man. I mean, he's big dude. He passes well. I think he's a better scorer than Trae just because he's bigger. He can get any shot he wants. He can shoot over people. And he's just very good. I mean, in my opinion, he's already probably top 2 player in the league. I mean, he's very good. So I'm going to go with Luka. Yeah,
and on some days he's the best player in the league. I mean, on some nights they're playing the Heat right now and he's kind of lighting them up. So
yeah.
Ross, who you got? Luka, Trae, who you got?
I did pick Trae this year for MVP, but that's right now. That's not in the future. I think at the end of the day, I think Luka will have a better career. So I would take Luka to be my franchise player. I think he is a better overall player than Trae. I think Trae can, hit the deep ball, but he can get banged up down inside sometimes. And I think Luka just has that calm, cool effect to him. He doesn't talk much trash. He's pretty consistent too. He's level-headed, and I really like his game. Good passer. Good facilitator. I just think he's overall gonna have a better career, and I'd have him as my franchise player. So I got Luka.
Yeah, I had Luka before y'all two, and just for the sake of disagreeing and playing devil's advocate, I'm gonna take Trae. Just for the fact you, like Ross just said, that Luka's that calm, cool, collected guy. Trey is the type of player that's going to get fans in the seats. Last year in that series against New York, when he was basically the villain, I loved that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great for
awesome.
box office. I mean, that gets
For sure.
people in the seats. And he's just one of those guys, a lot like Steph Curry, that you better guard him from half court because he may pull up,
Mhm.
And I agree with you guys that Luka's going to be a great player, but just for the sake of trying to be argumentative, I'm going to take Trey here. This next one, I think we were probably all three going to have the same one.
I believe so.
Yeah, for sure.
Two Blue Devils actually played on the same college team, played on this exact same team, same year and everything. Zion Williamson, or Zion, as Flight calls him,
AKA neck warts,
also known as neck warts.
AKA 300-pounder.
Yeah.
AKA one Popeye chicken biscuit away from
being a tight end, basically.
Being out of the league, being a left tackle.
New Orleans was the worst place for him. The jambalaya is getting to him. Against RJ Barrett.
Jumbo.
RJ Barrett, New York Knick. Ross, I'll let you start. Zion or RJ?
I've never liked Zion or Zion, whatever you want to call him. That's Flight calls him. Ever since he picked Bry's Blue Devils over my Kentucky Wildcats in high school, since then I've kind of despised him. I said coming into the NBA that he was going to have to lose weight, and he's gained weight. The dude, I don't care.
Not a little bit of weight. He's gained like 30 pounds too.
He has a 40-inch vertical or whatever, but nobody's knees can handle 300 pounds constantly landing. And he shoots like a girl to an extent. And I know there's a lot of great hoopers that are girls, but the typical, side step shot, that's what my mom shot like back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It's just very classic, just set shot, and that's not going to work. He has a 40-inch vertical, but doesn't get 2 inches off the ground on his jumper. But like I said, and he's got to lose weight. He's got to do something. He's got to change it up. It's obviously not working. And then RJ, hasn't had that breakout season yet in New York, which I think it's coming. You know what I'm saying? He's surrounded by good vets and a good coach in Tibbs. I like RJ, and I'd way rather have RJ any day of the week over Zion for my franchise.
Jax?
Yeah. I'd agree 110%. And you were dissing on Zion, which I'm going to diss on Zion a little bit too. I'm going to hop on that train. Neck warts, yeah. Like Ross was saying, 300 pounds and that kind of bounce don't mix well. 300 pounds falling down from 40 inches in the air, that's just not safe. That's just not safe for the knees. I don't think anyone's meant.
It's also not safe for the people around him.
Yeah, earthquake basically. But anyways, I don't think. That's just not safe. It's no man that big should be able to jump that high, and so I think his knees will eventually give out on him. But I'm going to give RJ some praise. His big question mark coming into the league was the 3-point shooting. I believe the other night he hit 7 and a career high where he had like 34 or something like that. So I think he's going to be a very good player. I don't think he's talked about enough, really. And I think he fits that New York role mentality perfectly. He's a gritty player, very gritty player, plays with a lot of heart, hustle player. And I just like RJ Barrett a lot. I think he's going to, like Ross said, he hasn't had the breakout year yet because I think Julius Randle's still kind of that guy. But I think within the next 2 years, RJ's going to be – he's an emerging superstar. He'll be a superstar here in the next 2 or 3 years, I believe.
People forget these guys are super young. They both came into Duke 18, came into the league at 19. So what is this, their third year in the league? They're probably only 22 years old,
Yeah.
So I agree with y'all. RJ's definitely the guy. And, unlike these two, I actually had high hopes for Zion coming out of college. But on the idea that he would stay the same weight or lose weight. When I seen the Mountain Dew commercial a few weeks ago of him with Zach LaVine, and he looked like your average Joe 300-pounder sitting on the couch, I was like, this is not good. I don't know who let that commercial run. I don't know where his agent was, but if I'm a part of Zion's party, if I'm on Zion's team, that thing don't get ran. It made him look awful.
He looked like Booger McFarland.
Yeah, exactly. Booger McFarland. They that's just disrespectful by his own people to let him do that. And maybe it's because he wants out of New Orleans. That's the rumor. He wants out. And so maybe he's pulling a James Harden, just getting fat to get out. But I think it's I truly think it's
I think he's just a big man.
The food in New Orleans getting
he
to
likes
him.
to eat for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all seen the other day in his game, it was towards the end, and they showed a close-up on him, and the announcer was flaming him. The announcer, I believe, in quotes, said, and there's Zion. Gosh, he's looking heavy. If he wants to be healthy in this league, he needs to lose some weight. And if they're calling you out on the nightly broadcast for being fat, I mean, it's just embarrassing. He's the Eddie Lacy of the NBA.
Yeah, that's tough.
DeMarcus Russell.
Yeah,
he's gonna come
back and play left tackle for New Orleans Saints.
That's tough. On the side of RJ, I agree with Jax. He's not. It's not been his role to really take over that team. He's had Julius Randle to be the star player for them, but I think he's going to be a great player. Maybe average 23, 24 a night. That type of player. Never that upwards of 30 probably. But people forget that RJ Barrett is Steve Nash's godson. And has been for a long time. Like Steve Nash has been working with this kid since he was young. So, and you can see bits of it. He's a great passer. He really gets his teammates involved. And I think that RJ is going to be a better player than Zion because I think Zion's truly out of the league by 2025. Yeah, I think Zion will be setting at home by 2025. So as long as RJ can play until 2025, he's a better player. Yeah.
I mean, as long as he's playing. Zion ain't even playing. We haven't seen a game this year.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Next up is my two co-hosts' favorite player in the league, LaMelo Ball. Or a guy they both also like, Ja Morant.
Yeah.
It is these two players are fireworks from start to finish. High flying. If Ja Morant would have landed that dunk against Kevin Love last year, it would have been the greatest dunk I've ever seen in the history of the NBA. Yeah. And he missed it long too. But Ross, I'll go ahead and start this. This was the hardest one to me. This one was the most difficult of all of the ones we're picking, but I'm going to take LaMelo.
I like it. I like it.
I got LaMelo. And the main reason is I think that team in Charlotte and, Michael Jordan gets a lot of trash as an owner, but I feel like he's finally starting to turn around. I think that team is going to be better. I think they're going to put pieces around him where Memphis hasn't really shown that they're going to do. Memphis went and got Jonas Valanciunas, but he's way past his prime. Yeah. They got Steven Adams. He's way past, these guys aren't the type of guys that you put around. Yeah, they don't have, they have guys like Dylan Brooks, 3-and-D type guys that don't really complement Ja's game. Where LaMelo, he's got Bridges and Bouknight and Gordon Hayward and Mason Plumlee, T-Row, but Mason Plumlee, the big one.
Oh, come on now. Don't even mention his name. We want Cody.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I would pick LaMelo because I think they're going to continuously make him got pieces around him that are going to make him better. Even though he was dreadful last week.
Yeah, he didn't have a great week last week. He's bounced back the last two games, but I'll just take this one real quick, Ross. Actually, surprisingly enough, Ja, one of my favorite players. I watched him at Murray State a lot. Got the pleasure of watching him at Murray State. It was hard for me too, honestly, Brissy. It was a tough decision. But, at the end of the day, I'm going to pick Melo just because I think Melo is you put the ball in Ja's hands when you want a bucket. You put the ball in LaMelo's hands when you want the right play to be made. That dude's going to make the right play at the end of the day. He's a great passer. He can set up teammates and he can score. And I think that's where he separates himself, really. He can do more as a whole than Ja, in my opinion. He rebounds well. He's a lot bigger guard. I think he probably outsizes Ja by 5 inches. I think he's 30 pounds. He's a better shooter than Ja. Ja's got the athleticism on him, but he's a better shooter. He's a better passer. He's a better rebounder. He's not a better defender, I would say. LaMelo does struggle on the defensive end, but he does get in passing lanes, which is good. But I'm going to go LaMelo too, and he just brings that flair, He's box office. He's definitely box office, and I think he's slowly becoming the face of the NBA, in terms of young guys. It was Zion, but, neckwards, and he's 700 pounds. So I think they're leaning more towards Melo just because they don't want a bucket of Crisco as a face of the NBA. So I'm going Melo.
Yeah, like y'all said, this one was hard for me for sure, but I'm definitely gonna have to take Melo. You know, you load up Instagram, first thing you see on House of Highlights, Bleacher Report, you see Melo highlights. I mean, the dude is just becoming the face of the league.
I mean, he's honestly like not play wise, but media wise, the next LeBron. Like I haven't seen a player covered this much since LeBron. You know, like Ross said, every time you open up a social media page, there's LaMelo. Where 5-6 years ago, every time you opened up a social, and it's still that way today, but it's not as bad. But 5 or 6 years ago, you opened up social media, LeBron. For the first 5 scrolls you made, LeBron.
And I'd say the main reason for that, honestly, is just because like I've said this before. I don't think there's ever been a player in Melo's shoes. You know, his life has been broadcasted for the world since he was 12.
Exactly.
So I mean, he was really built for this. Like, I mean, he knows, like, he's always in the big stage. Always, he's been filmed. His everyday life has been filmed since the age of 12.
And
so there's never a moment too big for this kid ever. I mean, he's always calm, cool, and he loves the game of basketball. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, and everybody's waiting for him to fail. I mean, because of LeVar, everybody's waiting
for sure.
And he's proved. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of LeVar. I've really grown to enjoy LaMelo, but at times I wanted LaMelo to fail just to prove it wrong, just to prove LeVar wrong. And
that's what most people,
He said, "I told you so."
Yeah.
He said, "I told you so."
I mean, he always said the baby brother's gonna be the best.
Yeah, but LaMelo he just seems like a good dude, guy you want in the locker room. I don't think he's gonna be a big thing that people always talk about LeBron. He's never been in the news he's never had a mugshot. He's had a wife he married a high school sweetheart. I think LaMelo's one of those guys. He's not going to be a problem in the locker room. Seems, he's very flashy and out there, but at the same time, he seems level-headed because, like we said, he's been in the spotlight forever. Nothing's ever too big for him. But Jaw's a great player as well, and I think I'd take Jaw almost over all these guys on this list already. He's a great player. He's just as good as anyone else on the list, but I definitely have Melo.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd say I'd take Ja over anyone else on this list other than Luka and Melo. That's just a hard matchup,
I agree. The next one up is some big men. They're really the first group of big men on this list. Young rookie Evan Mobley, second-year guy James Wiseman. Mobley plays for the Cavs, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Wiseman for the Warriors. So obviously a big disparagement of talent between the Warriors and the Cavs. I mean, the Warriors, one of the best teams in the NBA, the Cavs, one of the worst. But I'll let Ross start here. Who you got, James? Who you got? James Wiseman or Evan Mobley?
I wasn't too high on either of these guys coming in the league. I've never agreed to take centers high in the draft. I think they're very replaceable positions. You look around the league, there's not too many centers that can say they changed the game. I think a few, maybe AD, but besides that, they're very replaceable. They're all pretty similar, but I think Mobley's just got a little better skill set, and I think he's a little more like a guard than Wiseman. I think he can. I seen a clip maybe early in the season. He just took it the whole length of the court and then dunked on someone. Like, I think he's got a little bit better guard skills, and that's the only reason I've taken him. I haven't really watched either of these guys that much, so I'm not too knowledgeable on them. But if I had to pick one, I'd say I'd take Evan Mobley.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'll just take this one real quick. Yeah, like Ross was saying, big men in a positionless basketball like today, 7 footers, 7'1" guys, they don't really have as big of a role as they would have, early 90s, late 80s, big men kind of dominate.
And these
the
two
league.
wouldn't last in that league.
No, they would not. No, absolutely not. They are
they're 7 foot $180. I mean, they're
they're definitely a product of the new NBA. Big dudes that can shoot and move. But I'm going to go James Wiseman solely really off of body. I mean, his body's a lot more developed. And I just think I don't know, Evan Mobley, I've watched him a little bit actually because I watched the Hornets. So I've got to see him twice this year. And he just looks super passive and very timid. I know he's a rookie. I know he is a rookie, but he looks like
I think he's only 19 or so. I
yeah,
mean,
he looks like
one and done at
super
USC.
timid though. And I mean, and on top of that, it almost makes him look more timid because at like Bryce said, he weighs 180 pounds. So like he's kind of getting bullied like by dudes who are 5-6 inches shorter than him, but they got 100 pounds on him because he's just such a little guy. But if Mobley can maybe develop the frame and maybe work on the shot a little bit, I would take Mobley, but that's not what this game's about. It's right now. And so I'm going to take James Wiseman just because I think he's more developed as of right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take Wiseman here for a lot of the reasons Jack said. Not only is he developed now, but he's in a situation where they're going to continue to develop him. Cleveland, I'm not sure how well they're going to continue to make Evan Mobley better. A lot like I'd said about Ja, what are they going to put around Mobley? Right now they've got Garland and Sexton who are, athletic but average guards. I mean, I don't think maybe Colin Sexton's above average, but Darius Garland's an average guard in today's NBA. So I'm going to take James Wiseman just because, and the thing is we're not that far away from Steph and Clay and those guys being done. So very shortly, this could become James Wiseman's team. This could become his team. And it's like Ross said, it's just very hard for centers in the last 20 years, excluding, Anthony Davis. Centers aren't your centerpiece anymore. Shaq was your centerpiece. Tim Duncan, wasn't a center, but still a big man was your centerpiece. But the last team we seen with a centerpiece was probably the Grizzlies. The Grindhouse Grizzlies.
Well, we got the Joker now.
Yeah,
we got the Joker.
That's true, but you also got Jamal Murray and
that's
right
true. They complement him very well. So
the last one to lead a team like that, I'd say, is the Mavs with Dirk. I think that's the last true.
And Dirk was
forward, but he was pretty much the center. I mean,
and Dirk's probably one of the 10 greatest basketball players of all time, skill wise. I mean, I don't think either one of these guys are that. So to be the face of your team in today's NBA, you've got to be, extremely, extremely special. Next up, Jax, did you do this on purpose? Did you put a Celtics Bulls guys on purpose?
Oh, yeah, 110%.
Okay, so Jax made this list up. Jax came up with this game today. And I just now realized, that it was Celtics Bulls. And I forgot the bet that Ross and I had between the Celtics and the Bulls. So this one is Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine. Who you got? Jax, I'll let you start since you're not a part of this bet.
I got LaVine. I hate Boston. I hate Boston because Bryce loves Boston. That's exactly why. I hate Duke because Bryce loves Duke. I mean, it's just we got a little family rivalry going on. But I also I believe in LaVine's game a lot more than Tatum's. Really, I mean, Tatum's a very good player in his own right, and it is close. It is very close. But I think, LaVine's just a very good scorer. And I don't know if y'all saw the Marcus Smart thing coming out and basically calling out Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for ball hogging. I mean, I don't think Tatum really is a creator. I'm not saying LaVine is, but it's almost like Tatum, like if he doesn't have the ball in his hands necessarily, he's just going to be there. He's just going to be present, really. Yeah. And that's a big reason for me. And, the Bulls are a very good team. Zach LaVine at the helm, leading that squad. They're a very good team. I believe they're number one team in the NBA right now. So that's why I got them. And he's just high flyer. He can pull from 40. He's your ideal guy in today's NBA.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to disagree. Not that Zach LaVine's a bad player. And if this right here today, after hearing all this and hearing other things coming out of the Celtics, the Celtics people, but I picked Tatum, but it seems like that locker room is coming undone very, very quickly. And I don't know if it's, not having Brad Stevens there to kind of calm it all down. The new coach, Ime Udoka, the guy I think he was from the Nets. Haven't really heard much from him about it, but, Brad Stevens would have stepped out and already nipped that in the bud, very quickly. I get he's the GM, so he could still do it, but I'm going to take Tatum. LaVine, I'm not discrediting Zach LaVine because I think he's a really good basketball player. But Tatum, man, I just feel like Tatum's the guy that, when you need Fitty, he'll be that guy. Like he's the guy that can go get you buckets. But
for sure,
it hurts to say, but it seems like a lot of these issues that the Celtics have had, it seems like he's the root, the guy that it always comes back to.
I think so too. That was a big reason. For me.
And I always thought that maybe it was Kyrie that was the issue in Boston, but maybe looking back at it with all the stuff that's come out since then, maybe it was Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown that just couldn't handle having somebody like Kyrie on the team. But I'm going to say Jason Tatum.
I mean, two great players, but you know who I got. I got Zach LaVine. I mean, but like y'all were saying about Tatum, it seems like every year it's like the Cowboys. It's going to be Tatum's year, and it's never been Tatum's year. The dude just consistently, I think, has really high expectations, which I'm sure
he gets better stats wise every year. He's gotten better stats wise, but not. That's about it.
What's it matter?
End of the season, it doesn't matter.
I mean, we haven't been as close to the NBA Finals as we were in his rookie year when he went toe to toe with LeBron. He hasn't been the same since.
Yeah,
and everyone, coming into the league and having great couple first years, comparing him to Kobe, and I always thought that was disrespectful.
Yeah,
I think if anyone's close to him, I think it's D Book. I mean, he's made it farther. I know he had Chris Paul or whatnot, but I think D Book's closer to Kobe than Tatum will ever be. I just think he can't. I mean, who's the number one guy for y'all? I mean, is it Tatum or is it? Is it Brown?
I think it's Brown. Personally, I got to watch Boston.
How can you be that kind of caliber of a guy and not even be the best player on your team? I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand.
And even if there's a question mark there, like you said, like even if we're questioning
just the question.
You gotta be the guy.
I think there's no question that Zach LaVine's the best player on that Bulls team.
Yeah, he's the guy.
He's the leader. Sure. He's the guy. He steps up when they need a shot.
Yeah, but the other thing is there a guy on that Bulls roster as talented as Jaylen Brown to make it close?
Yeah, DeMar Caruso.
Okay, that's disrespectful.
On the wall.
Do what?
That's
you got DeMar DeRozan, but there's not. I would say there's no one as big of a star as Jason or Jaylen Brown, but there's LaVine has a lot more, options outside of Jaylen Brown, in my opinion. DeMar DeRozan, Zoe, Vucevic, Big Vooch, and like I said, Alex Caruso. I mean, they're all very good players, and Boston's not that deep. Yeah. So that's, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm getting at, kind of?
No, I understand. I was just making the point of, y'all are questioning who's, the best player, where LaVine doesn't have that issue where he's got to worry about, Jason Tatum every single night. He's like, do I get the last shot or does Jaylen?
Yeah,
smart.
That's
where
the thing.
For LaVine, it's like,
it's LaVine.
I got
he wants it. It's him. Yeah, for sure. I agree. And
yeah. I mean, I don't think they complement each other. You look at great duos, Pip and Jordan, they complement each other. I just don't think
they're the same. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Yeah, they're the same player.
They play the same position, they do the same exact thing. So it's, I'm sure it's hard for that locker room to, I'm sure they have favorites or whatnot, but they're the same exact player. And neither
Boston for years has tried to fake that Jason Tatum is a power forward.
Yeah, he's not.
And he's not. He's a small forward.
He's closer to a shooting guard than a power forward to me.
Then they try to fake that Jaylen Brown's a shooting guard, and he's not. They're both small forwards, and it's really hard for them to play on the floor at the same time.
I think
they just they either need to, and I've said this for a while, they need to get rid of one of them.
Yeah, and blow it up. Just blow it up. That's
either blow it up. I honestly wouldn't have minded if last year if they'd have sent Jaylen Brown for James Harden. Like that. That's the kind of caliber Jaylen Brown is. Like, you can send Jaylen Brown and get one of those guys. Like, you could make Jaylen Brown the centerpiece to get Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
Like, he's that kind of player. So why not go get somebody that complements Jason Tatum? And because, in my opinion, you're going to lose one of them. One of them's going to walk.
Yeah, they're going to eventually, like you said. Yeah,
makes no sense to have both.
Yeah, so I agree. I think and obviously, they just paid Jason Tatum a ton of money. I don't think Jaylen got as much. So keep the guy you're paying a ton and get out from underneath Jaylen Brown and go get one of those other guys.
Yeah, I like that.
Just not Ben Simmons.
Please be Ben Simmons.
Yeah, please.
No,
please.
Not Ben Simmons. No.
He's Zion. How about that?
Get Ben Simmons and Zion in a 3-team trade. You got neck warts and then crybaby
Ben Simmons.
That's disrespectful.
I would love to see that.
That's disrespectful. Well, that's all we got for tonight. It was a good show. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I like that game. We're gonna have to we're gonna have to incorporate that into some other areas, whether it's the NFL or college football or even more NBA players, just different guys, whether
For
it's
sure.
a Campo or KD,
Yeah.
something like that. But, like we do at the end of every single show, y'all go follow us on Instagram _below average brothers, Twitter below av brothers, Facebook and YouTube below average brothers, TikTok below average brothers. We continue to put out content for you guys on YouTube and on our podcast, obviously Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever y'all listen to it, go like, subscribe, rate, review. Listening is optional. And we're going to continue to put out stuff on Facebook, whether it's picks or we're continuing to work on different things for y'all to get some involvement. And we enjoy that a lot. So with that being said, good night, everybody.
All right, bye.